Can't hear it. Can't hear it. Nope.
I did see that.
Nope. Well, I can't hear the intro, so I'm going to go ahead and go into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome. No, can't hear anything.
Okay, and then I don't know what's wrong.
That's all right. No worries. No worries.
I have to recheck it because of the whole network thing that went on.
Yeah, he had a network breach this week.
I can hear it, but I guess you guys can't.
We can't hear it. Anyway, we are the Sports Nerds. Welcome to the show with my co-hosts, Mr. Ken Casso, Mr. John G. Olson, of course, Mr. Big E. Elliott Lamba. I am here to take all of the beat downs and hatred and smashing and all that stuff.
Before that, do you want to talk about anybody that died?
No.
Okay, good. You get that out of the way first.
No.
Because you every week you usually come on. Oh, you know who died this week?
No, we're not going to do that.
Nope, nobody actually died this week.
Well, they did, but we don't know who they are.
No.
As for me, I'm just standing here like a cactus out in the desert. Getting eaten alive.
Anyway. So how was your day, guys? Mine kind of sucked.
Gee, I wonder why. You should take that fucking hat off.
Mine got better.
You should try by taking that damn hat off.
John is in waiting until tomorrow night, but I don't think he's going to have any issues after tomorrow night. So I'm just saying.
The insufferable thing has to wait a day.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta wait, man.
You gotta. We all have to wait for it to be insufferable because he's going to have Bill's propaganda up and down the entire internet tomorrow night.
Are you going to actually have access to the game, John?
I'm in Canadian, man. I always have access to every game.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing for us for blackouts or anything like that.
Good.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, first thing I want to touch on is Trey Lance, if you don't mind, guys. The diagnosis has come across, and
Can I chime in on this?
the 49ers have confirmed that he has broken his ankle. He's going to have season-ending surgery, and it will be Jimmy Garoppolo's team the rest of the season. Elliot, your thoughts on that?
All right. To be quite honest, I'm really sorry that the kid got injured that way. I hope it's not something that's going to affect his life, his career, or anything else, because it's hard to say. That being said, the San Francisco gods spoke and basically said, we can't have Trey Lance as our quarterback.
Really? That's your thoughts on that?
We need Jimmy G back in there. I mean, you asked me all preseason, all before the season started, what do you think about the Niners with Trey Lance, the quarterback? And I told you, I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And if you look up and down social media, 49er fans everywhere are like, sorry about that, Lance Trey, but they're really happy that Jimmy G's quarterback.
Well, Niners fans have been fans of Jimmy G for a while. They thought he should be, they thought that the franchise weren't treating him very well, and that he was going to get a raw deal had they been able to trade him in the offseason.
Well, he ain't going nowhere now.
No, he's not going anywhere now. That's for damn sure.
He ain't going nowhere. And again, like I said, I feel bad for Lance, but he ain't ready for NFL football at this point as a quarterback. I really don't. I don't know what would have happened in that game had he not gotten injured, because Seattle basically sucks anyway. All this bullshit that they won last week, and there's a guy that I know. He's a real fucking ass when it comes to being a Seattle fan. He's like the 12th man on steroids.
Okay.
He doesn't know when to shut the fuck up. and he was blaming everything on Russell Wilson. I said, that's only because you blame Russell Wilson for the Super Bowl loss when that was actually Pete Carroll's fault.
That was Pete Carroll's call. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And then afterwards, when they lost, he's like, I told you Russell Wilson was going to have a shit game. I go, he threw forward 300 freaking yards. If it wasn't for the 2 fumbles by his freaking running backs, you guys would have lost by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, well, he struggled today too, but that's okay.
Well, and then he threw up that quote, that stupid ass quote that Geno Smith put up after the game. They wrote me off, but I never wrote back.
Right. Well, Geno got his
like, well, you should have fucking wrote back, dude. Because
he got his ass handed to him today too.
You got your ass handed to you. You only played 1 good half of football last week. You got lucky because the Broncos turned over the football twice in the right by the end zone.
Yeah.
And you didn't do shit in the second half. And today showed exactly who Geno Smith is as an NFL quarterback.
He's a mediocre quarterback.
Touchdown was on special teams.
Yeah, he's mediocre.
If that.
Yeah.
Look, he's Drew Lock with darker skin.
Ooh.
That's the way I see it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, again, I feel bad for Lance and all that, but the inside of every 49er fan is going that Jimmy G didn't leave.
Right.
And that he was there to step right in and show what the 49ers can be like if they have an actual quarterback under center.
Right. So even with Trey Lance going out, the Niners did beat the Seahawks today, which is
they beat them down.
Yeah, they beat him. They beat him pretty good.
Okay.
So, now they have to revamp their offense because they've had their offense designed around Trey Lance going into the season.
That's the thing about when you have a team that you have 2 playbooks, basically.
Yeah.
You got the Lance playbook, and then you got the
Garoppolo playbook
that's put on the side.
Yeah.
Until needed, like break glass, in emergency.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they even said it today that under Trey Lance, the 49ers will do 80% running plays. Where under Jimmy G, they were doing about 40.
Right.
Okay. And the whole game plan changes, yeah. But it's not like they're creating the game plan on the fly. They have to have a contingency in case either he got injured or in case he flamed out.
Right.
And he had to come in. So basically what they did was they switched gears back to Jimmy G.
Yep.
And he came in and did his work. The running game was working. Okay. The defense was insane because the defense was going to be insane after the shit they had to go through in Chicago last week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they're back to being the 49ers that actually have a chance of making some noise for the rest of the season.
I agree.
And the Rams almost blew their game today against Atlanta.
Yeah. After Atlanta was down 28-3. Hello.
Yeah.
Deja vu.
28-3. Does that sound familiar?
That 23.
Did you see the story about Matt Ryan? He threw for his 60,000th yard, and the ball was numbered 283.
Yes. The ball has been put in Canton, and it is
under number 283.
Under number 283. Yes.
He will never be able to get away from those 3 digits.
They'll never live that down. Okay. And again, Seattle's no good. Arizona is no good, despite what they're doing right now.
They're actually, they were playing the Raiders and they took the Raiders in overtime.
Come on, man, it's the Raiders. Even Crystal came in here. She's a Raiders fan.
Yeah,
she came in here with just a couple minutes left and said, "How much time is left? We still got time to lose." This is a Raiders fan. They already know. They see the writing on the freaking wall.
Yes.
If anybody's capable of pulling some shit like that, it's the Raiders. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you look at that, and then the Rams is the only other legit competition, which actually, if you think about it, we own the Rams.
Yeah. In the regular season, yeah, but not.
And they got lucky in the fucking playoffs last year.
Well, yeah, because I agree.
They should have lost that game.
Yeah.
Up until last year, they owned them in the playoffs.
They have Stevie Wonder in the secondary. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Very.
So I think
I
we
was
can win
listening
that
to Joe
division.
on Rio yesterday
I really
in my
think we
truck,
can win that division.
and they were talking about
Yeah.
Garoppolo
What happened?
should have 2 Super Bowl rings now because he should have beaten the Chiefs,
I mean,
and he could have beaten
if
the
it
Bengals
wasn't for
last year.
Shanahan and his fourth quarter coaching against the Chiefs, yeah, should have won that one. And he should have at least been in the Super Bowl last year if it wasn't for the goddamn refs.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
they beat the Bengals easily if they get in the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, and I think it was the NFL's prerogative that the Rams win that Super Bowl in SoFi and all that bullshit.
Just like it was the Bucs prerogative the year before in Raymond James. So yeah, but yeah.
Right.
So again, I see new life for the 49ers, and especially looking at
you know what, Elliot? To be
the other
honest,
3 teams in that division.
Yeah.
I consider us being serious contenders to win that.
And to be honest, now that Jimmy G is under center, I think the Niners are a better team with Jimmy G under center, to be honest.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Look, they were a team, and they were an experiment at the moment.
Yeah.
And the only reason that Trey Lance was quarterbacking is because they didn't want to spend all the money on Jimmy G, but at the same time, if they don't at least play the guy after spending trading up
after the draft capital they spent on him,
they didn't want to have that egg on their face. And as a matter of fact, if you think about it, that injury today spared them the fact that they screwed up with that 3rd pick. You know what I'm saying? They were let off the hook by that today.
I'll be very interested to see what this does to the 49ers betting line as far as the Super Bowl odds and NFC odds.
And in regards to that pick, all I had to do was look at the example of Carson Wentz as to what Division III quarterbacks do in the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay? Because Trey Lance went to the same college as Carson Wentz, North Dakota State.
Huh?
Okay?
Yeah, but there've been other quarterbacks from not mainstream schools that have come in and done well.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking Division III.
I mean, one of the classics comes out of Dallas.
They're Division II. Excuse me, Division II.
One of the classic ones comes out of Dallas. You know what I'm saying? Roger Staubach. He played for Navy.
He went to Navy, yeah, but it's still
Division
I.
Yeah, but they're not considered a Division I. Basically, a team.
He won the Heisman Trophy, for goodness sake.
I understand that, but he can't. And how many quarterbacks have won the fucking Heisman Trophy and come in and blown ass in the NFL?
No, that's true too.
Okay, so please don't throw that Heisman bullshit at me. Okay, he came from an off college. He won the Heisman Trophy in what is considered not a mainstream.
Yeah, well, see, back in the '60s, Navy was considered a powerhouse back in that day. In the '60s, Navy was
considered a powerhouse for how long?
83 2000s.
Yeah. So
how about Miami of Ohio? Are they considered a powerhouse mainstream?
No, but you're going Ben Roethlisberger on me now. I know, aren't you?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay. The thing is that even Lance didn't even have experience in college.
No, he played 1 season, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe 2.
Hey, Brett.
He didn't have enough experience in college to even come and play in the NFL. Right. He could have played for a Division I school only 1 season. Come on, you can't.
Well, and that's
they would have been better off, honestly.
And Mitch Trubisky has the same experience with North Carolina.
They would have been better off drafting Justin Fields. Same style of quarterback, only Justin Fields has pedigree under him from all the time he spent playing.
And Ohio State.
In college. In Ohio State.
Yeah.
Okay, under a strong football program.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, a lot of people, including myself, felt that Justin Fields should have been that pick, not Trey Lance.
Right. And I think Trey Lance was a reach for the Niners, to be honest.
It was.
And I said that when he was drafted as well. So
trade all that draft capital just to get him?
Yeah.
No, that was a total screw up by the front office. And again, like I said, the potential egg on their face from having to play Trey Lance this season was removed. they were let off the hook by that injury today.
Yep. Moving
Because
on.
now they don't have to face that.
Let's move on. Dallas beats Cincinnati with a last-second field goal. Kenny, for your first victory of the year.
Mhm. First one.
And you know what? Let's go to the tape, shall we? Not the tape, but the stats, and look at that game real quick. As soon as I get the string up, come on.
What stat are we looking for?
We're looking at
Burrow in the
the
second half.
stats for really no stats.
Let me sum it up for you. We dominated the first half and then got dominated in the second half and pulled it out anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Bengals came back and tried and almost won that game, but if it wasn't for, I mean, the Cowboys were able to stop them and get the ball back and win that game with the last-second field goal.
But here's my question: Do you believe? And I'm starting to believe this is that Joe Burrow is kind of regressing a little bit.
No, it's not Joe Burrow regressing, Elliot. To be honest,
I think it's Joe Burrow regressing because if they went out and improved their offensive line, and he played better when they didn't have an offensive line, that's called regression.
Yeah, and you know what? The offensive line, despite all they spent, Jamal, despite all the capital they spent in the offseason for an offensive line, I mean, dude, he still got sacked 6 times at least today. I think it was 6 or 7 sacks today.
He's not. I don't think he's. How should I say? Capitalizing on his ability the way he did last year. I think he played better last year when he was scared. You know what I'm saying? Than this year when he's supposed to feel confident. Again, I blame the fact that people say this out loud and Super Bowl hangover. He thinks because he made the Super Bowl and they went out and improved the line that he's an automatic to go back. You know what I'm saying? And that just ain't
almost never happens.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, isn't he one of the ones? That stat that was put out, remember?
The losing team in the Super Bowl.
The last 16 teams that had a quarterback make it for the first time and have lost the last 16 Super Bowls, and that quarterback never went back.
Yeah, I saw
Joe
that.
Burrow's on that path.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Because the great Dan Marino wasn't on that list only because another quarterback in between actually made it and then went back
after him. Yeah,
right. I was going to go
on that list of 16 quarterbacks. None of them ever went back to the Super Bowl, and Joe Burrow could be number 17,
including Joe Montana, including Dan Marino was one on that. Is on that.
Well, no, Dan Marino wasn't because
Dan Marino was 17.
Yeah. He would have been the 17th, but another quarterback made it and then made it again.
Right.
It's about making it once and never going back in a streak. So he's 17 out of the last 18.
Okay.
One of them actually made it back, but the last 16 in a row.
Okay.
He wasn't part of that streak.
Gotcha.
I thought I heard him say today that Burrow's the first quarterback in NFL history to be sacked 6 or more times in his first 2 games of the season.
Yes, he was sacked 6 times today.
6 times last week.
Offensive line is not as good as people thought it was going to be at all. Because Pittsburgh caused havoc on him last week and then Dallas today. I don't think Joe Mixon was 19. He had 19 carries for 57 yards, and Brett, I don't know if they have a running game. We'll see. Because Mixon is pretty much their only running back at this point.
Mixon's good. Yeah.
And Dallas kept him in check with under 60 yards a day. What I was going for was Cooper Rush. 19 of 31 for 235 and a touchdown. A 95.5 rating.
Yeah.
Not bad for his first start this year. I know when he started one game last year.
You don't give him too much credit because he did play Cincinnati, who also lost to Mr. Trubisky.
Yes.
Okay. So let's not start singing
What's
praise.
with all the Mitch slander? Jeez.
Hey, he's no longer with Buffalo, so I'm slandering him.
How many yards did you say you finished with?
235.
235. That makes it 63 yards in the second half because he had 162 at halftime.
Well, see, so he had a good first half.
He had a good first half. Second half, they
fizzled in the second.
They got way too conservative.
And that's why Cincinnati was still in the game.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so let's not go with this. Cooper Rush is all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? Because honestly, I'd rather have Trey Lance than Cooper Rush. And you all know how I feel about Trey Lance.
I mean,
Cooper Rush is a competitor. I can say that for him. I mean, he's
but Cooper Rush is good in spots.
Yes,
he's not going to be the guy to take you anywhere.
He had some zip on the ball today because he was humming it down the field.
Yeah,
and another thing, it's hard as a defense to prepare for a Cooper Rush because nobody prepares for a Cooper Rush.
No.
So he took advantage of that in the first half, but they went in, made some adjustments. He was just another B-grade quarterback in the second half.
I give him credit for
You got to give Dallas. You got to give Dallas's defense the credit for the win today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Even despite the fact that they were winded and that they gave up a 19-play drive that got the tying touchdown.
You also have to give them credit for keeping that game somewhat close last week against Tampa because they stopped Tampa for 4 field goals.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That Tampa could have totally blown them out of the
3 field goals today.
You know, so
they weren't giving up 2 touchdowns in the first 2 games. That's it.
It's a given. Dallas has a formidable defense.
Yes.
Okay, and the defense is going to keep them in games. But if the offense can't stay on the field long enough and be consistent throughout the entire game,
I mean, Micah Parsons is a beast. He had 2 sacks today, and I mean, they're comparing him to LT. Believe it or not.
Well, he didn't win this. He didn't win the defensive player of the year last year for nothing. You know what I'm saying? The guy's good.
I don't want him to be compared to LT. I want him to be. I want him to
be the first Micah Parsons. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I bet you he'll tell you the same thing. I don't want to be LT. I want to be Micah Parsons.
Nobody wants to be LT.
Known as Micah Parsons.
I was very impressed with Tony Pollard the way he ran today.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed with Zeke.
I think little by little, Zeke is going to start getting phased out a little bit, I think.
Well, and you look at the stat line, and Zeke had 15 carries for 53 yards. Pollard had 9 carries for 43, but the average rush was 4.8 for Pollard and only 3.5 for Zeke. So Pollard was the more effective back despite having less yards. Pollard had a rushing touchdown. Zeke did not.
That's been the case with Zeke since he signed that $90 million contract.
Yeah.
You are not going to believe this one.
What?
Raiders lost.
Check your monitor.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Raiders must have lost because Crystal's back there cussing up a storm.
What are they like?
Oh my gosh. Dude.
I missed it.
Are you kidding me?
How'd they lose?
Oh.
Picked up a fumble and ran it back for a touchdown.
Oh my goodness.
72 yards, is that what it was?
What the hell? I don't have a stat line. I'm on NBC now, so I don't have the stat. So Arizona picked up a fumble and ran it back for a touchdown to beat the Raiders.
They literally didn't have to. They could have played just run the ball to get a field goal.
Kick a field goal, right?
And kick a field goal, and they decided to throw it, and then Hunter Renfrow fumbles it. Pick six,
my
or not even
God.
pick six. Whatever.
Well,
Return it for six.
I guess Crystal was right. These are the Raiders.
Dude,
She told me earlier. She's
Yeah.
like, they still
50,
got enough time to blow this.
58
don't they?
yards.
Amazing.
Jesus.
Unbelievable.
Now
Wow.
let's
That-
moving on again. John, this one's for you.
wow.
The Miami Dolphins.
Hey, man. Dolphins, tip of the hat, man. I mean, that was insane. That was crazy. It was, Dolphins are legit. I always said Dolphins were the biggest threat to the Bills.
Right.
I mean, doesn't surprise me if Tua plays like that. It's great. It's Marino and
Dude threw
Kelly.
6 touchdown passes today.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's everyone talking about the AFC West. Maybe it's the AFC East because we got every team won today in the AFC East.
Yes.
Well, you can't count the Jets because they beat Cleveland. That's not
True. Yeah,
We'll
it's like a
get to that
division.
eventually.
That's no major accomplishment.
Yeah.
I was
No, man,
wondering.
it was good.
Okay.
I mean, dude, like Lamar went off. Lamar is just a beast. And then Tua just has like probably I would say the best duo. Like, is there a better 1-2 punch for receiver in the league?
Then Waddle and
Waddle.
After
Hill.
today, you can't say there is.
They did like $190 each with
I mean,
What they
Kareem
do,
Hunt,
they put
Kareem
over
Hunt
40.
had the last 2 touchdowns that Tua threw today to win that game. So I
Kareem
mean,
Hunt,
Tua had 469
Tyreek
passes.
Hill, I'm sorry, yes.
Kareem Hunt didn't do shit today.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway.
I'm talking Tyreek Hill, excuse me.
Yeah, they both scored over 40 fantasy points.
Yeah,
I was
it was
wondering.
crazy.
No, Tua had 6 touchdowns today. Did Marino ever have 6?
Oh, I'm sure he did. I
think he tied it. I think he
it?
tied it. Yeah, I think so. I think.
Steve Young had 6 in the Super Bowl.
I mean, Tyreek Hill had 190 yards receiving. Jalen Waddle had 171 yards receiving.
11 catches, 171 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yes, they each had 2 touchdowns. Yes. And Gesicki, of course. Brett mentions Gesicki. Gesicki's a beast as well. So
What does this say about Baltimore's vaunted defense?
That's pretty suspect now. Big
Yeah.
time. First half, everyone was ready to, throw Miami into the, like
them.
Miami sucks and look at Tua, they can't do anything. Look at Miami. I don't say a word like during
The
social
Ravens
media
defense blew 2 21-point leads today.
But here's what's wrong with the Ravens, and this has been their bugaboo for the longest time. They don't have a running game to help them run a clock out.
Nope.
Okay, if you got a 3 touchdown lead in the 4th quarter, what are you going to do most of the time?
You run
The ball down the other team's throat,
eat the clock.
and kill some clock. They don't have that. So any team that can put together a passing game or has a decent passing game still has a chance against Baltimore.
Yeah.
And the fact that they lost, it's kind of like last year when Buffalo lost Tre'Davious White, right? They lost Marlon Humphreys. He's like the anchor of that defense. And now that defense is starting to show weaknesses, especially today. And again, you got to ask yourself the question, is Baltimore really that top-rated defense that they used to be?
Mm-mm.
Today says
Nope.
no.
Ray Lewis ain't coming back through that tunnel, and neither's Ed Reed.
Nope.
I mean, Tua threw for 469 yards and
Yep.
6 touchdowns.
Dude, he beast moded.
Yeah.
I mean that'll shut up the haters for at least a week.
Yeah.
Lamar had over 300, didn't he?
He had 318, and he also had 119 rushing yards too. So I mean, he broke
Right.
one for 79 yards, for goodness sake.
Yeah, he had a perfect passer rating plus a 79-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, yeah, and
787 yards passing between them.
yeah.
Crazy.
Not bad.
I mean, again, everyone talking about the AFC West, but I'm not putting the Jets and the Patriots in the upper echelon, but I mean,
Well, I'll tell you what, the Raiders and the Broncos don't look as good as we thought they were going to look.
I not at all. I thought the Broncos would look a lot more. Now that being said, their freaking head coach is a degenerate.
Yeah,
So,
he's
an idiot. That guy is a total hack.
Yeah,
dude. And his name is Hackett.
Literally a hack it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, he was OC for the Bills, man, and it was the most painful thing in the world. It was like we had to deal with him and then Greg Roman like back to back.
His clock management is pathetic.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
I mean, he had a delay. The Broncos had to delay a game today on a freaking field goal.
Yes.
And pushed them back 5 yards, and they had to punt.
They had 2 last week.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but if you got Russell Wilson quarterback and it's 4th and 5, you go for that shit. You don't try to kick a 64-yard fucking field goal.
Right.
That's what they did against Seattle, and they wound up losing.
Well, and today they could have kicked like a 55 or a 57-yard field goal, and they decided to punt.
And they passed.
Yeah.
With all this reputation of, the thin air, he can kick them from anywhere, You know what I'm saying? And he had something within 60.
Yeah.
It was 59.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to go for it. So basically, I look at it this way: Hackett is a hack, and if they keep going this route, he might not even make it a season as the head coach.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it was pretty bad.
Plus, they lost Jerry Jeudy.
Yep.
They lost Patrick Surtain.
Yep.
Okay. And Russell is Russell. Okay. But he's in a new situation for him as well. And this ain't Pete Carroll that's coaching.
No, and he's in a brand new system, and
but the coach ain't Pete Carroll or anything close to that caliber.
Correct. Agreed.
No, that guy.
All right.
Respect.
And I said Denver would be the weakest team in that division.
Yeah, I know you did.
I thought it was going to be the Raiders. I thought the Raiders, and I started saying the Chiefs are going to suck. But look at me, right?
I mean, look at what they did on Thursday night. My God.
Yeah, it didn't like. Was that more the Chiefs, or was that more the Chargers being the Chargers?
I think it was more the Chargers being the Chargers because you know what? They had that game flowing for 3 quarters when Herbert was utilizing Mike Williams. And after he caught that touchdown, he never looked at Mike Williams again.
Yeah.
Well, of course, a fractured rib cartilage didn't help matters much.
No, even before that.
Yeah, but that was fourth quarter. That wasn't
he stopped throwing to him after the third.
Second half, he wasn't even around. Like it was. But that's the Staley thing. Like he's too smart for his own good.
Idiot. He's another idiot.
He's too smart for his own good. He's like one of those really, really smart football guys that overthinks things.
Now you can make the argument the AFC has probably the collective a collective bunch of idiots for coaches. That could possibly be made. You can probably put some facts behind that.
Yeah, I mean the only one I like out of the bunch is Andy Reid.
But he's the only one out of the bunch that has a fucking brain
and a pedigree.
Hackett don't have one.
Yeah, McDaniels doesn't have anything.
McDaniels doesn't have one. I mean, he tried it in Denver once and it didn't work.
Dude, I bet you. I know he's not the OC, but I bet you he had that call. Let's try throwing it instead of just running it to get better field position. I bet you that was his stupid idea.
Staley kept them out of the playoffs last year.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So again, I think they're collectively the worst coaches in the league. You know what I'm saying? And right now it's starting to show because the AFC West is not, except for Kansas City. Those AFC West teams aren't showing any kind of dominant trait whatsoever. They're not putting the fear of anything into anyone with the way they've started the season.
Nope.
Madness.
So,
all right, let's let's move on to the elephant in the room, guys.
Which one?
And that would be the embarrassing loss of the Cleveland Browns to the New York Jets.
Bro, I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna mute my mic, and I want to hear your experience and reasoning. All of this, so
yes, please.
Especially with your really attractive new logo you guys are throwing out there. I'm just saying,
yeah. So today, so we we unveiled the Brownie the Elf at midfield.
Obviously, they unveiled it on your hat.
Yeah, but this is not the logo on midfield. They don't have any. I tried looking for that logo, and they don't have that logo out yet. So, but that's okay. It's neither here nor there.
I bet you the hat is what lost it today.
For those of us that aren't in tune with the lore that is the Cleveland Browns, please explain to us Brownie the Elf, please.
Brownie the Elf has been around since the 40s, believe it or not. He's been associated with the Cleveland Browns since the 40s.
You know what?
I'm not entirely familiar with the entire story, but
this week was the first time I ever heard of it. Brownie the Elf.
Really?
Same here. I thought they prided themselves on not having a logo.
Yeah. Brownie the Elf has been around for almost 80 years, since the inception of the Browns. Ken knows this. He's seen it before.
Ken knows everything, okay? Ken knows who was the starting special teams guy in 1940 on the Dallas Cowboys. Saying that Ken knows that is
and what his GPA was at a university that no longer exists.
Yeah. He knows what high school the guy punted at, saying that about Ken does not that's
yes,
okay. Ken knows that.
Ken is a football encyclopedia. That's why
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Scott. I'm not legitimate enough for you to depend on for.
I'm sorry, Ken. I tried, man. I tried. But no, Brownie the Elf goes back to the 40s. He was, he was has been the unofficial mascot. And the Browns went away from him in like the late 60s, early 70s, and did not bring him back until just recently. He's always been Brownie the Elf has always been in the background and a little bit, but he hasn't been in the forefront until this season when they actually put him on the field. So that's the background. It is what it is. I still believe the Browns don't need no stinking logo. The orange helmet is enough, and the Browns are named for Paul Brown, and that's what the connection should be. But it's something to talk about. Rich Eisen had a blast with it this week on his show all week long. With he'd never heard of the Brownie the Elf. Myles Garrett came on the show, and Nathan Zagura, who's the color commentator for the radio, the games from the radio, came on his show this week, and he was all on Brownie the Elf all week long, and he criticized it and kidded it and picked on it, and just it is what it is. My point being, the Browns had a 13-point lead with 1:55 left in the fourth quarter against the New York fucking Jets.
With Joe
Flacco as their quarterback. Okay? It was so guaranteed that people were putting up the history of the last time the Browns have gone 2-0 in to start the season, which was back in 1993 when Bill Belichick was the head coach. Talking about and Garrett, the Browns, and then people were saying, well, they played the Steelers on Thursday, and then they get to play. Who is it? They're playing the week after some low ass freaking team. Was the chance to go 4-0. Well, you got to win the game you're playing first before you put that shit up, people. I'm just saying. Okay? But the Browns lost in very Browns fashion today. The defense was non-existent in the last 2 minutes of that football game. The defense had been bad all game, giving up big plays to Joe fucking Flacco and the New York Jets. And they're missing coverage. They're blowing coverages. They're allowing chunk plays, big plays. And I'll tell you what, Garrett Wilson is the real deal. He's a great wide receiver for the Jets. He was their draft pick this season. He's a great rookie. But it's the New York Jets, guys. Come on. And for a defense that was lauded and supposed to be great, with all the talent on this defense, the scheme, whatever Joe, what's his face, the defensive coordinator was putting out there, wasn't working. And this failure falls on, I mean, Grant Delpit got burned all day today, and it pissed me off. But the defense was playing. I mean, they just disappeared the last 2 minutes of the game. They were saying, well, we got this game, no problem. Let's just play relaxed. Nobody was covering people. The defense just blew it. I've also heard stories about how Nick Chubb should have gone down on that last quarter, on that last touchdown at like the 1 or whatever, instead of scoring to run out some more clock. And people were blaming Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb carried this team on his back the entire game. He scored 3 touchdowns. Him and Kareem Hunt both manhandled that defense of the Jets. But the defensive secondary, the safeties, and the cornerbacks blew it. Of course, Jadeveon Clowney went down with an ankle injury. He's out. He was out for pretty much the second half. So that we lost that side of it. I mean,
what kind of game did Myles Garrett have?
Myles Garrett had a sack and a tackle. Had a sack, and he was putting pressure on Flacco all day long. Clowney also had a sack. But
not all day long, but for the first 58 minutes.
Yeah. This falls on the defensive coordinator pretty much. Okay. Because guys were not in the right spot. Communication. It was ridiculous. And I'm disgusted with not only the defensive coaching, but special teams. How the fuck do you give up that onside kick?
Oh, I mean, onside kicks are subjective. They're a subjective thing. It works once in a while. You get lucky sometimes and get one. But the thing is that they couldn't stop the Jets on 2 consecutive drives.
Correct.
2 minutes.
Right.
To a guy who's basically washed up and shouldn't even be playing, Joe Flacco. Mm-hmm. All right. And it's pathetic. It's atrocious. And then what makes it even worse is that your fan base is so, how should I say, deprived of winning that they don't even understand that they're criticizing the best player on the fucking team,
right,
for not taking a dive at the 1 yard line.
Exactly.
That to show you how low of an IQ the fan base of the Cleveland Browns.
Well, a portion of the fan base. Most of the fan base is intelligent and knows better. But Joe Woods is the defensive coordinator for the Browns, and his scheme is just not working. He's got all the talent in the world in that defense. I mean, the talent on this defense is some of the best in the NFL. But if the defensive scheme isn't working, then you're going to get burned. If guys aren't where they're supposed to be, and if they don't do their job, then you're going to get burned. So,
but here's the thing: their defense almost blew last week's game too.
Yes, they did. You're right.
They played well for the start of the game and part of the way through the second half, but towards the end of the game,
Baker burned them in the second half. He really did. Yeah, he did. He did. So, I mean, I'm disgusted with the defensive performance today. Especially when the fact that you get a 13-point lead and you can't blame Cade York for the missed extra point. It's not his fault. It just happens. Sometimes it happens, but to give up 14 points in less than 2 minutes, that's on your defense.
And I hate being on a dead horse, but 14 points to Joe Flacco.
Correct. Well, yeah, that too.
That's the whole thing right there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It just goes. That's just another notch in the lack of success belt that the Cleveland Browns.
And we're used to it. We're used to it as fans. So I mean, it is.
And that's another bad thing when you can say, "Oh, we're used to it." It's kind of like when Crystal came in here and said, "Oh, well, okay, I guess the Raiders still have a chance to lose this." And
yeah.
they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to understand, right? I mean, and this has come from a guy who cheers for a losing franchise, who's basically, like now we're having good success, but the past 20 plus years, it's been awful. And someone was just mentioning this in our Discord today. They're like, oh, I'm picking the Bills to, win the AFC and, the Bills this, the Bill that. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, if they win, it's great, but it's like, I don't like, I'll always expect them to do Bills things. Like, I'll always
I'm the same way, John. Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go like, oh my gosh, they're going to go 17-0 this year. It's like, they're going to have awful games. They'll probably go to the Super Bowl and then lose on a field goal or a fumble or something, because that's what these franchises do. And that's why we're used to it. We have the thickest skin, It's like all the Dolphins fans chirping right now. Oh, look out for us. Look out for us. It's like, okay. I mean, if you beat us, it's not going to surprise me. Hello, Facebook user.
That would be Mr. Derek Laughlin.
I was about to say stats like that. It's got to be Derek Laughlin.
Derek, go to hell.
I loved your comments today, Derek.
Worry about the Bears tonight.
It's always about the Browns.
Well, it's just when you get franchises like this, you're just used to it. Like, it's like Buffalo and Cleveland are not destination cities. Like, it's like, so we get dealt the cards we got, and if we win, it's great.
And honestly, all four heads in this box right here, okay, we've gone through a couple of decades of bad football. Because the 49ers, after they won in 86, or was it 96? 96.
94.
Bro,
94.
I've never seen a championship. You've seen multiple in your lifetime.
Well, I get
Same
that.
with Ben.
But you guys had 4 chances and you blew them all. That's what I'm saying.
My point. Exactly. That's my point. My point is that everyone says,
haven't seen a Super Bowl in what, 28 years now?
You've experienced
Cleveland's never seen one. And the only reason we won is because we had one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in Joe Montana.
Joe Cool. I love his Guinness.
Look at New England now without Tom Brady.
Oh, no Mac Jones slander here. I know.
Ever.
How do you first of all, how do you lose against the Steelers? Like
they did.
How do you win? How does the Steelers lose again? Like I want. Was it just TJ wasn't playing? Is that it?
Because
is that the only reason?
Because the Steelers, except for defense, I don't think the Steelers are that good right now. Yeah. You can say no Mitch Trubisky is slander here, no Mitch. The fans were calling out for Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were calling for Kenny Pickett today. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that ought to tell you how the fan base feels about Mitch Trubisky.
Mitch, just come back to the Bills, buddy. Be Josh's backup for the next decade, man. You're good, man.
Yeah, come back
comfiest job in
come
football.
Come back to your shelter point. Yeah, there you go.
Come back to your shelter. You'll be sheltered by Josh.
I got an elephant in the room. How about those Indianapolis Colts when they go to Jacksonville?
Dude, are they the most overrated team this year? Are the Colts
Matt Ryan was supposed to be the improvement over Carson Wentz, and he actually played worse than Carson Wentz.
Dude, the Colts look bunk.
What is it about the Colts going to Jacksonville? They've lost.
Not even last week too.
Yeah.
Last week too. The Colts are doo-doo, man. And with Pittman out too, their offense has to run through JT, and that's it.
And he ain't done shit really either.
He's not really lighting it up.
No,
so it's
they're playing more like the Indianapolis Cluds.
And Matt Ryan ain't going to get you out of the pocket and scramble for 20 yards.
No, he's not at all.
So your offense is very limited. So teams just stack the box and call it a day, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Stack defense didn't look so good against Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence today.
Dude, I mean, Jacksonville, good for Jacksonville. Where's Whittle these days, Scott? You still talk to him?
He's still out. Our birthdays are the same day, so he brought a mention to me this week on Tuesday when our birthday.
Happy 75th birthday, by the way.
This is 56, people. I just want to let you know this is 56.
Well, at least you got your hair, man.
I remember 56.
I still got all my hair. Thank you very much.
You got your hair. You don't got your looks, but you got your hair, man.
I
So okay.
know. I have a great face for radio, so it's all good.
There you go.
Anyway,
Perfect.
a couple shout outs, but yeah, Whittle's still around. He tweets a lot about Fortnite or some whatever video game he's playing at the moment. So, and
no, dude, I loved seeing the Jet.
Wasn't
Like it's such a weird franchise, but good for them.
Weren't all the experts and everybody saying that AFC South was going to be Indianapolis's division because the rest of the division was terrible?
Yep, Indianapolis is going to win.
Guess who's at the bottom of that division right now?
Indianapolis.
Yeah, guess who's going to join them tomorrow night?
Tennessee. Thank you very much. Anyway, just a quick couple shout outs. To tag off Brett. Detroit looked really good today with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Beast.
He's a beast. And hats off to the brawl in New Orleans today between Mike Evans and
Marshawn Lattimore.
Marshawn Lattimore. Both get ejected. But the Saints had the chance to be the first franchise to have a winning record against Tom Brady, but Brady beat him today, so it didn't. Bucs beat the Saints 20-10. These two teams hate each other so bad.
They do, man. It's
nasty.
great. Dude, and like, you know me, I'm like, Brady is like whatever now. I'm kind of like, I get a kick out of him. But dude, that guy pops so much stuff on the field and then never backs it up. Like everyone else has got to get into his fights for him because no one's going to touch the GOAT, right?
Well, and he started it.
He started it.
Yeah, absolutely.
His mouth started all.
It was Lattimore that was licking him first. He was talking to the ref.
Yeah.
About the call, and that's when Lattimore came by and said something to him, and that's when he turned around and started saying something to Lattimore, and the next thing you know, all hell breaks loose.
I mean, Mike Evans just came flat out running and just bull rushed him, and knocked him on the head.
Did you read his lips after? He's like, "It's Tom Brady. What am I supposed to do?"
Yeah,
like that's what Mike Evans said.
Well, and the thing is, dude, you know what? That stands true for any. You got to defend your quarterback.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Of course.
You can't let nobody punk your quarterback. That's just the way that goes. That's an unwritten rule, if especially for offensive players.
Unwritten rules of the road.
Don't let nobody punk your quarterback. And if your quarterback looking like he's in trouble, take him motherfucker out if you have to.
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you, Derek.
Go Pack.
Go Bears.
Go.
Thanks for coming, Dick.
Don't forget, these are not your daddy's Aaron Rodgers Packers either.
So everybody excited for Monday night? No?
I know you are.
Hell yeah. Home opener? Parking lots are already full?
Raise that championship banner. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. we always get the good enough diplomas, man. We get the good enough.
My concern for Monday night is making sure that Von Miller and the defense goes off.
Well, we got a lot of injuries, man. I don't know if you guys saw, but we got like half of our starters are like not playing.
Yeah, we got banged up last week.
Yeah. Well, even in practice this week, Gabe Davis is doubtful for tomorrow now.
Right.
Yeah, Gabe Davis, I know he's doubtful.
You got Ed Oliver's out for sure. Gabe Davis is doubtful. Dane Jackson should be good to go. There's another guy too that I forgot. It's like, dude, it's injury. This is why depth is so important. You know.
Yeah.
Triage.
Yeah. I got 5 guys. I've got 5 lineup spots playing tomorrow night.
I got Jalen Hurts in my fantasy. Yeah. I got Buffalo defense and Jalen Hurts, and I'm down by 14 points. I should be okay.
Well, I mean, I'm going to win regardless.
The Minnesota-Philadelphia game is intriguing because how good they did, how both teams played last week. Because Minnesota just balled out against Green Bay, and then Philadelphia, I mean, they got scared by Detroit, but they still managed to win that game.
But you see, Green Bay ain't so scary anymore.
No,
they got no receivers, dude.
Could you see a Minnesota Philly NFC championship game?
No.
Wasn't that the NFC Championship game a couple years back when the miracle catch by what's his name?
Stephon.
By Stephon, yeah.
No, that was New Orleans. That was
New Orleans. New Orleans against Minnie. Yeah.
Yeah, that was against New Orleans. It was Minnesota against New Orleans.
You said
No,
Minnesota.
but that wasn't the championship game. The championship game was Minnesota at Philadelphia.
Okay. And Philly won that game.
And
Oh, that's the
Philly
one
won
where
and
Philly
then they
won
went on to
the
win the
Super Bowl. Right.
So
Yeah, it's
that
good.
would be a
It's cool.
repeat of 4 years ago.
I love Jalen Hurts. He is a fantasy epic pick.
I got
Absolutely.
him playing for me tomorrow night as well.
Heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah.
I've got Dalvin Cook tomorrow night, and Harrison Smith on defense.
Crazy stuff, man. Week 2 did not disappoint.
No, it didn't. It was a great.
No, a lot
of upsets today,
yeah.
and a lot of exciting finishes as well. Despite what happened in Cleveland,
Dude, all the AFC East teams were like losing at halftime, and I was just like so happy. And then they all ended up winning. I was like,
yes.
Jeez. I mean, we actually got to try this year. Oh.
Well, that's all right. All the AFC North teams lost today, so I mean, it's there's that to say too.
Worst division in the AFC, you think?
Yes.
Or is it still the South?
Right now,
the South.
yes. Yeah.
After 2 weeks, yes.
Yes.
AFC
Well, actually, no. Wait, I take that back because the
AFC South is
AFC South is nipping
AFC
right
South's a
at
train wreck. Yes, you are correct. Yes.
You gotta go
Oh,
east
yeah,
to west because everything in the middle is kind of fucked up.
So
I'd like to wish happy trails to Herm Edwards, who was fired today by Arizona
Herm
State.
Edwards was fired today, and congratulations to the Las Vegas Aces for winning the WNBA championship today as well.
Las Vegas Aces.
Yes.
They won it today.
Becky Hammond is the head coach.
Like, okay, look, whatever. At WNBA, there's fans, people love it, great radio. Why on God's green earth would you have your championship on football Sundays? Why?
Just the way it is.
Why?
Just the way the NBA and the
Nobody's gonna
WNBA.
watch you anyway.
Dude, I like
That's the way it is.
just plan your seasons, whatever. Doesn't matter.
It's like Walter Cronkite said, that's the way it is.
Aaron Judge hits number 58 and 59 today, Elliot.
Oh my
58,
God,
51.
we had to do a freaking. We were so close.
Leave it to Scott. Remember, I don't bring up the Yankees.
I know you don't.
Ever.
I know you don't.
Ever.
Yeah. It's fine.
So instead of obituaries, he brought up baseball today.
There you go.
They have to get it in, Elliot.
I mean, that's really the
One
only
way or
relevant
another.
baseball news going on right now is Aaron Judge.
And Pujols trying to get to 700.
Please get to 700.
Please. We want Pujols to get
I
700. We
want him
really
at
do.
I would
702.
hate to see him get $6.99 and then not
Oh, I know.
retire.
That
at
would be
90.
horrible.
All right. Well,
You want to play another year.
yeah. All right, fellas. So it was a great week in football, despite what happened in Cleveland.
For some of us.
Yeah, I know you guys enjoy me and being miserable. That's okay. That's all right.
I didn't say a word.
I know, Ken. I know. So with that being said, we're not going to mention Nebraska because Nebraska sucks anyway. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we're going to close it up for this week. On behalf of my co-hosts, Mr. Ken Coslow, Mr. John G. Olson, and Elliot Big E Lamba.
Go Bills.
Go Bills tomorrow night because I hate the Titans almost as much as John hates the Titans.
Go Bills.
Insufferable. Thank you.
And on that note, we will be back next Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Hopefully with an outro and an intro.
Hopefully with an outro and an intro. Yes, exactly.
I can sing if you want. We can.
No,
sing.
we don't want. No, please don't
Yeah.
sing, John. No, please don't sing. Anyway.
Not unusual to be loved by anyone. Not unusual.
My ears are bleeding.
Dude, I sound like Barry White. Okay,
No, you don't, John. No, you just think you sound like
That's
Barry
very
White.
one.
You sound like Barry what?
Barry Watson. Barry Watson, not Barry White.
Maybe Barry Manilow, but that's okay.
Barry Manilow.
Gosh.
On that note, folks, we are out for another week.
I got my dogs barking from your singing.
There you go.
Dude, voice of an angel.
Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next Sunday. And on that note, we're out. I won't ask for the outro because I know it's not going to work. So we're just going to.
No. Technical difficulties. You guys know what that is. So
Yes. Yep. And y'all have a good week. Peace.